Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey guys, welcome to Big Fat Real Estate Checks. This is Marco Kozlowski. I'm joined with Francesco Galluccio and Gabriel Ladaish, and this is Caleb. Can't say your last name because it's really complicated. It's actually easier than Kozlowski, but I just call you Caleb all the time, and you're Caleb. Korzowski. Korzo.
Let's go with that.
Korzowski. Super cool guy. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is, of course, Marco Kozlowski, the almost fearless leader. Our mission, our vision, our purpose is to give people phenomenal content that is actionable, where you can grow your life, your lifestyle, your wealth by riding and surfing on the super appreciation wave using skills, not money, in order to really make a huge impact into your wealth. And in this episode, we're actually going to interview Caleb, who is not a stranger to, I think, being interviewed. This is the first podcast I think that you're on. I don't even think you knew that we're going to shoot a podcast. But surprise, it's a podcast. And we're going to just go over the quick timeline. He just did 2 refinances on a property. We talk about, how we buy, we optimize, we refinance. He did it a little bit differently than the process generally states, but he did it. And I want to go over how we acquired an asset, the optimization process around that, and the fact that he refinanced and actually got paid at closing again. To do that, he got paid at closing twice: the day he bought it and the day he refinanced it using asset-based lending. And we'll get into those dynamics. And congratulations on that. I think you just did a closing where you pulled out on 2 properties, tens of thousands of dollars. Congratulations on you on that. And yeah, we'll just go through that process and make this as organic as possible. And if you have not listened to the first 10 episodes on how asset-based lending works, please do. That really gives you the idea of the whole process, which is if you buy the property at the right price, you can always get the money. The money is never the problem. It's getting the right deal, putting the structure together so you can really do well. And I met Caleb, 2 years ago, around this time of year. I was doing a live event, and I think you came to a live event and you looked around, you told me that, am I in a group of actors? And am I being scammed over here? This, what you told me, I'm just repeating it, and if that's the case, you can confirm or deny it. And you're in Minnesota right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and cold.
Yeah, you're in Minnesota.
I still have my questions about Frank, because he was at that first thing. And I was
actually, I was in Orlando, just around the corner from here.
Mike is there.
Yeah, I was in Orlando, just around the corner. You and your wife were attending, and yeah.
It became real when we met at Francesco's randomly for dinner.
That's right. You guys were there, and then Marco and I walked into Francesco's, which is a nice Italian eatery near in Orlando.
Delicious. Plug for Francesco's.
Free advertising right there.
I'll give them free advertising.
They deserve it, man. They're good.
Yeah, but that's when you did join. That's right. Kudos to you, man. So, dying to hear what happened.
Yeah. Shoot, Caleb. Give us the quick skinny.
On this one, obviously, right? Not my whole background.
No. We don't need. We're tired of hearing that one. Well, maybe just a quick snapshot, what you do for a living now, why you're in real estate. This is a podcast, so I know we have you on testimonials on, I think at the end of a webinar, we do an interview as well, where you can see Caleb acquire an asset, and now you're seeing the refinance. Not the same asset, but a different one. So people buy more than one. That's usually how it works. So just a quick 2-minute background, if you don't mind.
I have a blue-collar job, basically. Started getting into real estate in 2018. My wife and I just started buying rentals in our area. We actually bought a vacant. Our second one was a vacant that we rehabbed. So I already had that kind of experience, had some connections around town that, contractors and whatnot. Joined up with Marco. And when I joined Marco, I think we had 3 already in our little portfolio. We got the one with Marco. This one came along. It was actually an auction, vacant duplex on an auction. And it was right by the one that I had rehabbed, the one I just explained. So I knew the area. I knew that it had potential. A friend of mine actually had worked on it years past. So I knew that it had good bones, but I couldn't actually go in before the auction. But when I was checking comps and everything, it was I got it well under half price, as is price at the auction. But it was, of course, you need to have all the cash to close it, which I didn't have. So then using Marco's skills and network, we used a asset-based private lender. I want to say the closing price was like 62-ish thousand. And I believe we settled right around 77-ish. So I think I pulled out right around 12 after everything was said and done at closing, which then got the ball rolling to get contractors in there and whatnot. And of course, as everyone knows, when you start doing full rehabs, nothing goes as planned. I had thought that I could get a construction loan through a local bank to do everything, but they said, no, we wanted to do that at close. So that led to it was actually, in retrospect, was actually a good thing because we had our own money, but we also had to tap into just different 0% credit cards at, Home Depot, those kinds of things. Got some credit lines in other ways. So it made us flex our creativity muscles, used mostly professional contractors for everything. But then near the end, I stepped in and got, kind of like Frank did with his hotel, got to the finish line by just kind of doing, the work that needed to be done. We worked with the city. It's an area where they need a lot of housing. So we were able to get one of the units done before the other, get the license for that one, get a tenant in there. So then we were at least, covering some carrying costs with that tenant, got the second one done, got another tenant in there, and then refied and paid off the lender. And then we basically got all of our money back, plus a little bit of a couple thousand at the end. So essentially, long story short, we got this whole thing done, not our own money in the long run, not in the front, but at the end. And now we're cash flowing right around $1,000 a month, not our own money. So
using Home Depot and Lowe's credit card. Actually, a lot of credit card companies are doing that, where you're doing the money transfer, right? They want you to use the credit card, and they'll give you 0% for like 1 year, and you're like, shit. So yeah, you're still using other people's money. You're just being really creative and saying, shit, they're willing to give me a 0 loan for 1 year. Why not?
Yeah.
So that was very good to get your construction cost, right?
Yeah, we got, for the Home Depot one, we got some materials, we got washer and dryers, some appliances. So that was that. And then some of the other credit cards, as you mentioned, we got miles. So it's like by using their money, you also then get miles, and then you do a transfer. And and
then you're going on vacation with the miles.
Yeah. Coming to Orlando.
Cool. There you go.
Well, and you're working on a blue collar job. You work every day. I know how hard you work. And your objective, I think, is to stop working.
Correct.
I think so. Unless I know you love what you do.
Stop working for other people.
Yeah.
We hear you,
like
man.
you've said in the past, something along the lines of, if you don't go after your dreams, you're making somebody else's come true or something.
Yeah. If you don't follow your dreams, you're working for someone that did.
Yeah.
Yep. And cool. So you bought the asset, none of your own money, pulled $12,000 out of closing. Had you could have gotten more money, have you just asked for it? I think you just under asked for the amount that you needed because you thought it would be cheaper, or you were convinced that you were going to get a construction loan on somewhere else. But so it wasn't a lack of necessarily money on the deal. It was a lack of planning on the front end, which is fine. And again, you don't have a lot of cash laying around. So you had to get very creative to get cards, credit cards, advances, do whatever you have to do. And it worked out. And the struggle was actually I love your attitude in that the struggle was something that you're glad that happened, right? Most people are like, oh, I don't have the money, I'm going to stop. As opposed to, how can I make this work? As opposed to, it's not going to work. And that's really the attitude that it needs to happen when people get involved in the business. Everything is possible. You just have to figure out the right solution.
And he pivoted. So, but if you planned a little bit ahead, the asset-based lenders that we do have will finance 100% of whatever you were looking for. So you wouldn't have to resort to credit cards. But now that you did, it just opens up another opportunity for you in the future. So you know what? You still have that in your back pocket if needed for whatever case, maybe for carrying costs. And but yeah, if you planned a little bit more ahead, you could have got it all paid. And
good though.
Which you still did. You still came out 0%
ahead. Yeah.
Actually, you still kept coming out because you're using 0%.
He still has the asset, man. That's
well,
cash flow.
He has a cash flow, and he has a loan that that is, I'm assuming, a very low interest rate.
4%.
4%
Wow.
amortized over 25 years.
30
years. Shit,
but it's actually a commercial loan with a balloon at 15, but we'll probably refi within that anyway.
Those commercial loans at 15, they'll easily refinance you at that point.
I would actually, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I would, yeah. Let's not talk about this on this podcast. But
yeah, I was able to, we worked with the local bank. So the other refi that you were referring to in the beginning, that was the original one we bought. We barely even touched that one. It was a duplex we got for about 72,000. And because the market's come up so much, the same bank we had the same type of loan with that same bank, and they refied that one. We actually refied 3 at the same time. So they gave us a deal on closing costs. And since it's commercial lending, they just basically restarted the 5-year fixed cost, the 5-1 arm. Mm-hmm. And then we went from 6-ish% down to 4%. And then on that one, we were able to pull out like 65,000 just because of appreciation.
Good for you. Inflation, actually.
What's that?
Inflation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another, that refers to the other one, but yeah. The interesting thing is, like you've mentioned, is just kind of forming those relationships with lenders. And so we had looked at 30-year fixed other programs that are like investor loans, and some of the closing costs are really high, and there's points on points and prepayment penalties and all this stuff. So we just weighed all our options, and the fact that it only took us 3 years to get to that refi position on the first one, we figured in the long run, it'll just be good to form that relationship with the bank for bigger.
But you only had the property for, you say 3 years, but you only had it one. You had 14 months, I think, was the total loan amount that you...
No, I mean the other one.
Gotcha. The one before you met me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So how was the refinancing process? Something that keeps getting asked. Can you just kind of quickly go over that?
Pretty easy. I mean, again, in this scenario, is easier because of our relationship. But basically, with this one, you fill out a personal financial statement. So before doing all this stuff, I was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "I have a savings account." But now it's just
Marco
amazing
says the same thing.
A couple of years later, to have an actual balance sheet and income statement, to go through all those things, and that also was helpful for us as a family, just to kind of do an audit of where we're at in terms of retirement accounts, all the different things that we've accrued. And then the bank looks at that. They call it like a global financial statement or financial picture. And then based on those things, along with an appraisal, because these are residential, luckily in our area. The thing is, if we would have got this rehab done earlier, I was looking at it about 135 for valuation of the duplex. And by it taking longer, we got to 170 for valuation. So that's the old like Chinese proverb where like the farmer, the horse, he gets a horse and they say good luck, and they're good luck, and he said we'll see, and then his son falls off the horse, breaks his leg, bad luck, we'll see, and then the army comes to recruit him for the war, and his son has a broken leg, so he can't go, good luck, we'll see. And so that whole idea of just rolling with the punches, and something, instead of putting judgment to something, just see what happens and then just keep forging ahead, like you said.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. And just maybe on a separate note, because you mentioned the personal financial statement, I think for everyone listening, that's something that's important to do is kind of do an assessment of your net worth every year. That's a better indicator of where you are in life than it would be to just look at your revenues and how much money you're making. And it's very gratifying if you actually concentrate on this and work on building that year over year. So if all your plans are built around what your net worth is going to look like at the end of that year, you're going to move ahead a lot quicker than if you're just focused on making money.
Well, what you don't measure doesn't grow, right? So by measuring exactly where you are in the litmus test and creating those opportunities by getting as much into debt as possible, because that's ultimately what you did. You bought an asset, you got into good debt that makes you money. The inflation took care of you, and we're in hyperinflationary times. Things are just going up, and the cost of construction is a lot more when you first started to what it is now. And that's kind of the reason why I was going to do a complete rehab on my house and went from $2 million to $4 million. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to leave it just where it is, sell it, and buy something where the construction costs were less, and I can buy for a better value on someone that really needs to sell. So if ever I want to get rid of my property. But the message here really is, if you're talking to another human that is thinking about getting into the real estate business, that is working a blue collar and, you know, or is wanting out, what's your advice? Because you've just done it, right? You went through the whole process. You bought, you went through. Now, we don't teach buying, rehab, and selling. You know, you went a little bit off the path, but the big idea is the same, right? You buy it, generate wealth. You didn't sell it, which is great because now it's going up in value. Inflation is going to make this thing worth 200, then 250, then 300, then 400. Then eventually, as time goes on, when your kids are your age, it'll be probably worth $1 million because the dollar is worth so much less at that point. It takes more dollars to buy anything. Just like in 1977, the average price of a property was $22,000, and that same property now is $400,000. Same thing. So, what's your advice
for blue collar people, especially? I mean.
Or anybody, or blue collar, below blue collar, someone that's, you know, just looking at their beer, not having a job, and, you know, saying, I want to get out of my situation. What's your advice? Or blue collar, whatever you think.
I think, especially for blue collar people in general, you know, where we may lack in numbers or paper skills for other people, we have the physical skills to do things. And so if you have any kind of elbow grease abilities, work on your weaknesses of maybe not knowing the numbers, not knowing how asset-based lending works. And just, if you know how to fix stuff, if you go through the process of getting a license per se, or whatever it needs to be in your area, there's tons of money out there that you can find. And then you put your skills to work that you make other people money with or for, and get an asset on your own. And if you're the other type of person who doesn't have those skills, find those people in your area, maybe partner up. I mean, there's so many ways you can do it with real estate, not especially even small. You know, you guys deal with more bigger properties, but typically, but even small ones. I mean, you could Airbnb things. You could turn them into, you know, subsidized housing, old folks' homes. Who knows? There's all different kinds of things. So just get in the game, make some mistakes, and get a mentor, because that'll make things a lot easier. But just do it. You know, just get it. Just do something.
Good. Very good. And are you glad you went through the process?
Now I am. during the whole time, you know how it is. It's just, but it's always that thing where at the end it's like, oh, I could do that again.
I'm elbowing Frank for those of you that are just listening. I'm like, what do you think, Frank? Was it worth it getting that hotel?
But you know what? Okay, in fairness, yes. When you don't know the unknown, you get scared of shit. But going through what you just went through, now gives you a better insight on what to potentially expect, because everything's not going to be the same. But yes, you know what? I was glad doing the motel and
you are now
park. Yeah. Well, but listen, it's the fear of unknown. But exactly what you said, it's not how, it's the who, right? Find someone who can help you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to know every piece of the puzzle, whatever to put it. Use your strengths, of course, but then look for the who. All right.
Look for the who, not the how, right? Who can help me, not how I need to do this all by myself, because someone else has the answer. That's why you joined the program to begin with, is because you knew that you get the answers that you needed and got the result with that. And now it's just a matter of scaling.
Well, and that, I was going to say too, I can weave these experiences into my storytelling. So I've been on the phone with agents talking about either value add or whatever. So I can throw in construction jargon, tuck pointing. What does this look like from a plumbing perspective? How are the mechanicals? Is it forced air, boiler? Which is pretty simple, but if you can kind of weave in a story of, like, literally when we were doing the rehab, my contractor cracked open the drain pipe, for the toilet, and just feces flooded out into the basement. And so that was a whole cleanup day that put us back. But then I can say that too now, when I have these agents telling me about this great value add, I can say, literally, we had SHIT all over the floor recently. And I don't really need to go through that again. So does that spell fuck? Drop the price. I don't know if I can swear or not. I'm trying to keep it family friendly.
Fuck with an S.
I don't know. I think that spells fuck.
No,
that's what that spells.
It's all good. But it's not just the jargon. I believe you can also weave in your experience of actually getting through the process of a rehab and a deal, where that's something that it'll just buy you the experience that you need into getting into your deals. So.
Which gives you more confidence as well when you're communicating. And credibility, which allows you to get more money because you have been there, done that. So you're cutting your teeth in experience, and it shows when you're communicating. A lot more relaxed. You know what you're talking about. You're not trying to impress anyone. This is just how it really is. And and one of the reasons you'll get more and more in deals a lot faster is because of that whole process. So it's pretty good.
And I think for the listener, it's important to know that Caleb also works hard. He
does.
Doesn't just, this didn't just happen to him. He put in the effort, put in the time, a lot of questions, and but that's what it takes. And you can't just get a mentor and coast. You need to do shit, which is SHIT.
That's FUCKINGRIGHT! Exclamation mark. Yes. All right. Well, that's that. Caleb, any parting words?
If you're thinking about if you think the market's too crazy to get in right now, I would say there's plenty of deals to be found. So don't be afraid of just kind of, look at 100. If you look at 100 deals, you might get one. So don't just stop it after 10 and be like, this market's too hot. Keep going.
I'm going to add to that, and it's the markets. The deals are created; they're not even found. So if you know what you're doing, you can create as many deals as you want and monetize as many deals as you want as well.
When you follow process, if the market's going up, down, or sideways,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Caleb. Congratulations. Well done. High five. Very nice. And thanks, boys, as well, for helping me out with Caleb. And again, if you like this podcast, like it, love it, share it, and please comment. And if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, be delighted to do that. And again, thanks so much, Caleb. Have yourselves, and your family great success. Happy holidays as well.
You too.
And if you're listening to this shortly, when this is being broadcast, we're right in holiday season, and having an extra 65 grand during the holidays is not going to be a rough Christmas for you and your family. So well done. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye for now.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, then show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.